Code makes the world smaller and our horizons broader. Driving every corner of our global economy is code. In this series, we look under the hood at today's most dynamic open source software with the people behind it. This is Decoded. In this episode, we sit down with the distinguished engineer and brilliant mind behind the Microsoft Bot framework and hear from an innovator who is building on that framework to talk about robots, coding for intelligence, the future of AI, and all things bots.
Hey, Zambo, look.
I think I'm seeing a drawing. What is it?
It's a picture of Isaac Newton.
According to Wikipedia.org, Isaac Newton was an English mathematician, astronomer, and physicist who is widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time and a key figure in the scientific revolution.
When was he born?
Isaac Newton was born on December 25th, 1642.
Wow!
You look surprised. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did, Zambo.
Can you draw another picture?
Yes, I'll draw another picture of Neil Armstrong.
We appreciate you making the time today, and I think John and I are both pretty excited about this one. This conversation is about bots, and this one's really fun because we have sort of the, in many ways, the creator of our bot framework from Microsoft, as well as one of our top customers in terms of using it with Sage. And so I'd love for you to each introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you've been working on.
I'm Lily Chang, and I'm a distinguished engineer in Microsoft in the AI division, and I run the team that builds the bot framework as well as the language understanding tools. Just really psyched for this conversation, because for me, you know, where it all becomes magical is hearing what people are actually doing with it.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Kriti. I work for Sage. I am the VP of Bots and AI at Sage, which is a dedicated role we've created because we absolutely believe in the power of bots and AI. Just to give you a bit of background, Sage is a global enterprise company, accounting, payments, payroll, applications, and HR for users in 23 countries around the world. Our relationship with Microsoft has been absolutely awesome. We've been building bots on the bot framework for a very long time, almost a year.
Which is a long time in bot space.
Before the show, we had a chance to sit down with Kriti and learn a little bit more about the bot she created for Sage. Hi, Kriti.
Hey, John.
You've built one of the biggest, most important bots in the world today. Can you tell us a little bit about your bot?
So super proud of building Peg, world's first accounting chatbot. It is a personal assistant that helps you run your business. It can take care of your expenses, chase payments for you, remind your customers and suppliers to ensure you're always on track, remind you about cash flow, upcoming deadlines, paying your employees. All of those admin activities are now being done by this bot that is powered by artificial intelligence. And our users absolutely love it.
So could we take a look, say running on the phone?
Yeah, let me just show you one right here. And what could be a better use case than a bot that does your expenses?
Okay.
I talk to Peg, which is my personal assistant on my favorite messaging service. I would ask, hey, I spent £100 on dinner with a client. And it says, who did you pay? I would say, I paid John. Got it, take a photo of a receipt, and here I upload a receipt. And the bot comes back and says, no worries. And what that means is it's done.
It can even pick up things like the location all automatically.
Exactly, and my patterns. So if I'm frequently creating expenses in a certain scenario, it can detect the next time I do that.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for coming all the way up here to Seattle.
Thank you so much for having me, John.
I love it. There's a great connection. We've worked with Sage. We actually started our Sage conversation with an Office 365 integration. And then once we've, worked on the product side for a while, the bot framework and the bot connection became the next piece, which is super natural if you think about accounting and end users. It's sort of a very natural piece. We kicked off the bot conversation at Build last year with Conversations as a platform and the first work. I'd love to hear about just the progress in the last year and sort of what you've been up to.
Sure. I think the last numbers that I saw, we have about 130,000 developers building the bot framework, which is pretty cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you think about the pieces of the bot framework?
So it's interesting because we actually started by building our own bot a long time ago, and we thought, wow, we need a developer in our team for each channel that we want to have our bot surface on.
A channel?
So a channel is really just an app where you can converse. So something like Skype or Slack or Facebook or Kik or just the web. We found that people want to be able to have a conversational interface wherever people converse. And so we just wanted to make it really easy to publish your service or your bot in lots of different canvases.
So, Kriti, you're actually using both pieces, right?
That's right. We love the multi-channel approach because, as I said earlier, we operate in 23 different countries, and there are different channels that work in each one of those. And Facebook Messenger might be a great platform for an entrepreneur running their business on their own, but there could be a larger enterprise who are using Skype or Slack. It's important to customize the experience for a channel-specific users. And also, if you look at the use cases of workflows we are going after automating, we want people's work life, running their business to be as easy as talking to a friend.
You mentioned this notion of people think of the bot as their friend. As you were building the bot framework, were you thinking about these kind of commercial applications?
You know, we started building social software a long time ago, and so we really know that no matter where you work, a lot of what you do is just conversation, right? And so how can you make these everyday tasks easier to use? I mean, it was really our hope that people would try to do more complex things. But I've always been really interested in the process of, a company sees the data, and then they learn, oh, my customer has this question. Can you talk a little bit about, the data that you get back from the bot and how that knowledge kind of feeds back into the whole system?
For us, this was a new journey because it changed how we manage or create product roadmaps. So previously, well, and I say in the old times, I mean like a year ago. So a year ago, if you had to decide the next 3 features to build for any product, including a bot, you would do a user research session, right? You'll bring people in and you'll show them the product, or you would do a survey afterwards. And now users just tell us what they want in a natural conversation, just like you're talking to a friend. Hey, you did this task for me, great. Can you also help me with something else? And that is product development for us. That's our roadmap sorted. And we can quantify it, and that's how we make decisions. We have become much more data-driven.
We've been talking a lot about the bot framework and channels and how all this fits together. We have a video of using the bot framework for a pretty novel application, which is connecting that same conversational interface to a robot. Should we take a look? Hey, Matt, welcome.
Thank you.
We've got this really cool robot that we've been working on with our partner, ASUS.
Yes.
So built into the robot is this ability to listen, send that information up to the cloud, and use the Microsoft Cognitive Services to recognize the speech. And what we're gonna go do is add some special new functionality using this cool thing called the bot framework that Microsoft has been producing. So I've got Visual Studio Code open, and we're gonna load in the bot builder and use the Restify library to create the listeners that are gonna be required to send messages back and forth. We go create the REST server, and we're gonna pull out the information like the port and the app ID and password from a .env file, and it'll all be up and running. So let's get down to the meat of this thing, and it's really simple. One server.post, set it up to listen to post messages, set it up to that connector to listen, and here's our code for a bot.
Yes.
I mean, it's really pretty amazing that we can create a fully interactive bot with just this little bit of line of code. So we'll just echo back what we heard, and we'll send it back.
All right, so you're just repeating back whatever we tell the robot.
Yeah, now, you can do some other really cool stuff with the robot.
Yes. So because the robot has a face, right? So the robot can smile, can shake the head, and so on. We added a little bit more capabilities when we respond. So if I scroll down into this little piece of code, that's how I say, this is the facial expression I want you to show when I'm saying this thing.
Got it.
Right? So we're assembling this into a message, and I have this method called buildAnswer to do that. So what we can do here is coming back to what you just did, which is the response I've heard. And what we can do is build answer, builder, session, and response. So what we're doing now is taking your I've heard something and adding all these emotions, moving heads, and saying, go, robot, do that.
That's pretty cool.
So we git deploy this. So git add, git commit, and test, and git push.
All right, so now that's off. Because we've changed GitHub, the server's gonna go auto-update.
Yeah.
Should we see it in action?
Yeah. Hey, Zambo, say something.
You said, say something.
Very cool.
Okay.
Now, Matt, it would be fantastic if we could have the robot kind of understand what it was seeing and contextualize that as part of the response.
So we have this new API called Custom Vision API. And what's interesting about it is that I can teach it to find out in images what I want it to find. So for example, we're interacting with Zambo, and maybe I want Zambo to know if it's an empty room, or if I'm in front of Zambo, or if I'm showing something to Zambo, a picture or something. Then I basically just upload my images, right? Images of me holding pictures and say, these are pictures. And what I do is I just tag them. I say, this is a drawing, this is a person, this is a room. And when the model is finished training, what I get here is a URL I can call. It's basically a REST API.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And I ask, what are you seeing now? And I get this response. So what we are going to do with your code is add these into it. So Zambo uploads images to our blob storage. So next time when we're talking to Zambo and receive a message, we're going to check this blob storage and ask the Vision API, what is this? And so now
And it'll give us back that tag.
Right. So let's do that. So what we're going to do is I wrote this little REST call here. That's just a REST call. It's a request calling node.
Okay.
And all I'm doing here is giving a URL, which is our custom vision URL. And I'm asking, what's this image? Call it, check the result, and respond with the JSON that I get back.
Got it. Okay.
So what we do back in your code here is we call this method called analyze custom vision. And this is how Zambo tells me this is what I'm seeing right now. When I receive a message, and the message contains text, it also contains other things. And in this case, Zambo gives me, this is the URL for the image I just saw when you're talking to me.
Ah, very cool.
Right? So what I do is add this image here. And of course, this is an asynchronous method. So what we do is we have a result.
Lambda function here with the
Right.
callback. Yep.
Yeah.
Move that code down inside.
Right. And I see, right? And in this result, I have predicted tags. Zambo may see many different things in the same image. Maybe I'm seeing you, but I'm also seeing a cat, and I'm seeing a door, right? So it's going to give me an array of these things.
Yep, okay.
In this case, I'm just guessing. All I care is about the first item in that array. I don't care about anything else.
Great.
And this is it. So now I'm saying I'm seeing a drawing, I'm seeing people or an empty room. So let's do the git thing again. Git add, git commit, second test. You can pretty much say whatever you want.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
So, hey Zambo, what do you see?
I see, drawing.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool, it works.
Yeah, now you've got AI being used to do the speech to text. You've got AI and that training that you did around the images, but all that stuff is packaged up into these super easy to use modules so that we can add intelligence to a robot.
Or anything.
Yeah, well, really appreciate your showing us that.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.
That was a lot of fun. I think one of the things that's fun is this notion of a physical instantiation of both the cognitive services and the bot framework, where you sort of get this manifestation of what it can be. And there's a ton of fun both to build that capability, working with ASUS, and then, of course, what it comes out with.
We were sort of laughing when you said, a long time ago, a year ago, not very many people were looking at bots or even using the word AI. And now, speech and dialogue and, these physical instantiations, I mean, that just seems like it's taken off in the last 4 months.
Since we're working on faster time frames, what do you see in the next 6 months to a year that's of interest to you in this particular space?
I think this next year we're going to see people really start to understand what are the building blocks in bots and have more predictable ways that they can interact and just better examples. Because we know this ecosystem is early, and we really want to think of ways that we can help developers, help investors, help all the channels build their business on these tools.
I think consumers will become more aware of what a bot is and stop asking it out on dates every time they talk to it.
Awesome.
And that's progress.
Yeah. Look, we appreciate you guys making the time today. This was a
Thank
great
you.
conversation. And so, really, thanks for making the trip. Thank you for coming over, Lily.
Sure.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
On the next episode of Decoded, we invite a new set of thought leaders to the roundtable to hear about what's new, what's being built, and what's in store for the future of machine learning.